I noticed the mirror because it didn't feel new. That sounds strange, I know. But when you move into a new apartment, everything has a kind of unfamiliar shine to it. New paint, new fixtures, new silence. Even the shadows feel different. The mirror in the bathroom didn't. It was already mounted when I moved in. Tall, narrow, no frame. Just a clean sheet of glass bolted into the wall above the sink. I remember thinking it looked tired, like it had been there longer than the rest of the apartment. The first few days were normal, unpacking, ordering food, falling asleep to distant sirens and the low hum of traffic outside my window. The kind of city noise that eventually fades into background static. I worked late hours, so most nights I got home after dark. I'd toss my keys on the counter, wash my hands, brush my teeth, and collapse into bed. Routine. That's probably why it took me so long to notice what was wrong. The first time it happened, I almost missed it. I was brushing my teeth half asleep, staring at my own reflection. Fluorescent bathroom light buzzing softly overhead, the mirror slightly fogged from the shower. I leaned forward to rinse my mouth. When I straightened up, there was someone standing behind me. Not close, just there, in the mirror. Tall, still. My heart jumped so hard it actually hurt. I spun around instantly. The bathroom was empty. Shower curtains still. Door closed. No movement. No sound. I laughed under my breath, embarrassed. "Get it together," I muttered. I told myself it was a trick of light, a shadow from the hallway, my eyes playing games after a long shift. I turned back to the sink. The mirror showed only me again. Normal. I finished brushing and went to bed. That should have been the end of it. But the next night, it happened again. Same routine, same buzzing light, same mirror. This time I didn't turn around right away, because this time I was sure. The figure was clearer, standing just over my right shoulder, too tall to be me, too still to be a reflection glitch. I could see the outline of a head, shoulders, arms hanging straight down, no face, just a dark shape where a face should be. I stared at it. My reflection didn't move. The figure didn't move. The longer I looked, the colder my skin felt. Slowly, very slowly, I turned my head to the side. The bathroom was still empty. When I snapped my eyes back to the mirror, the figure was gone. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed listening to the building settle. Pipes clicking, someone walking above me, a car alarm somewhere far away. Every sound felt louder, closer. The next morning I checked the mirror in daylight. It looked harmless, just glass, just me. I considered covering it, but that felt ridiculous. Mirrors don't do things. People do. Stress does. Lack of sleep does. I avoided looking directly into it for the rest of the day anyway. That night I tried something different. I stood in the bathroom with the lights off. Only the faint glow from the hallway spilled in. I faced the mirror. At first I saw nothing. Then, slowly, a shape formed. Not behind me, beside me, like it was stepping into frame. I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. The figure's head tilted slightly, as if it were trying to see my face. That's when the mirror fogged over completely. Not from heat, from the inside. A handprint appeared on the glass, on the other side, pressed outward. I screamed and slammed the bathroom door shut. I slept on the couch with the lights on. The next morning, the mirror was clear again. No fog, no print. But when I leaned close, I noticed something carved faintly into the glass. So faint I could have missed it if the light hadn't hit it just right. 4 words. Scratched shallow, uneven, like someone had used a fingernail. "You finally noticed." I didn't use the bathroom for 2 days. That sounds dramatic, but it's true. I washed my hands in the kitchen sink, brushed my teeth over the tub with my eyes closed, showered as fast as possible, staring at the tiles instead of the glass. The mirror stayed uncovered. I couldn't bring myself to take it down. I was afraid of what might happen if I touched it. The words stayed there. "You finally noticed." They didn't fade. They didn't change. They didn't look like something etched by a tool. The scratches were shallow and uneven, like they'd been pressed into the surface slowly, patiently, like whoever wrote them had all the time in the world. The second night I heard something new, not from the mirror, from the wall behind it, a soft, dragging sound, like fingertips brushing over paint. I sat on my bed, heart pounding, listening. The sound stopped whenever I held my breath. Started again when I moved. Slow, testing. I told myself it was the building settling, pipes expanding, old construction, but I knew better, because the sound followed me. When I stood up, it moved. When I stepped toward the bathroom door, it paused, like it was waiting to see what I'd do. I didn't open the door. I slept with my back against it instead. The next morning, my reflection lagged. It was subtle at first. I raised my hand. My reflection followed a half-second later. I blinked. It blinked late. I leaned closer to the mirror, my breath fogging the glass. My reflection smiled. I wasn't smiling. My mouth went dry. I stepped back. The reflection stayed where it was, still smiling, still looking straight at me. Then it spoke, not out loud, inside my head. Why do you keep turning away? I stumbled backward and hit the wall. The reflection tilted its head again, the same way the figure had the night before. I'm tired of pretending, it said. This time, I heard it, clear as day. The voice came from the mirror, but it sounded like mine. That was the worst part. I didn't do anything, I whispered. You moved in, it replied calmly. You stood where I stand. My reflection stepped forward, out of sync. The glass rippled, not shattered, rippled, like water. I ran. I didn't grab my phone, didn't grab my keys. I ran barefoot down the hallway, down the stairs, out into the street. Cold air slapped my face. Cars passed. People walked by. The world kept going. I stood there shaking, trying to breathe, trying to convince myself I hadn't just lost my mind. I stayed out until sunrise. When I finally went back inside, the apartment felt wrong, not dangerous, occupied, like someone had already settled in. The mirror was clean. No words, no scratches, no fog, just glass, just me. Almost. Because when I turned sideways, I saw movement in the reflection, behind me, closer than before, close enough that I could feel breath on my neck. Warm, familiar. I don't want your life, the reflection whispered. I just want your place. I felt something press against my back. Not hands, not arms, pressure. Like being pushed toward the glass. I screamed. The mirror darkened. And for the first time, I saw clearly what was standing there. Not a monster, not a shadow. Me, but thinner, hollow, eyes too deep, skin stretched tight like it didn't quite fit. I've been waiting, it said. I'm tired of being on the wrong side. The lights flickered. The pressure increased. The mirror surface softened. I felt myself sliding, not forward, inward. And right before everything went dark, it whispered one last thing. Don't worry. No one ever notices the difference. I woke up on the bathroom floor. The tiles were cold against my cheek. My head throbbed like I'd hit it hard, but I couldn't remember falling. The lights were on, too bright. For a moment, I just lay there, breathing, listening to the familiar sounds of the apartment, the hum of electricity, the faint rush of water somewhere in the building, a siren passing far outside, normal sounds, safe sounds. Slowly, I pushed myself up. My hands were shaking. I looked at the mirror. It was solid again. No ripples, no darkness, no other side. Just glass. Just me. I stared at my reflection for a long time, waiting for it to lag, to smile, to move on its own. It didn't. Relief washed over me so suddenly my knees almost gave out. I laughed, a shaky, ugly sound. I'm okay, I whispered. I'm okay. The words felt strange in my mouth, but I ignored that. I showered, I dressed, I went to work. The city looked the same. The streets were busy. People hurried past me, phones in hand, eyes forward. Coffee shops were open. Buses hissed as they stopped and pulled away. Life continued, but little things were off. At the coffee shop, the barista called out my order using the wrong name. I corrected her. She frowned at the cup. That's what I said. At work, a coworker asked if I'd changed my haircut. I hadn't. Another asked if I was feeling okay because I was standing differently. I laughed it off. Everyone does weird things after a bad night, right? That evening, I caught my reflection in a storefront window as I walked home. For a split second, it didn't match my movement. It blinked late. I stopped walking. So did it. I told myself it was glass distortion, lighting, fatigue. That night, I avoided the bathroom mirror entirely. I went to bed early, lights on, door open. I slept anyway. Deeply. Too deeply. When I woke up, my phone was on my nightstand, unlocked. Open to the camera app. The screen showed the bathroom. The mirror. Someone standing there, facing outward, waiting. I dropped the phone. It clattered onto the floor, screen cracking. When I finally forced myself to stand and walk down the hall, my legs felt heavy, like they didn't belong to me. The bathroom door was open. The mirror showed the empty room. No figure, no movement, just my reflection. But something about it felt satisfied. I leaned closer. The glass was warm, not from steam, from the inside. I pressed my palm against it. On the other side, another hand pressed back, perfectly aligned. Same size, same shape, same scars. The reflection smiled. I didn't. I told you, it said softly, not moving its lips. No one notices the difference. The lights flickered, and suddenly the reflection wasn't behind the glass anymore. It was standing where I stood, wearing my face. I was the one inside. The bathroom stretched endlessly behind me, dim and distorted, like a hallway that never ended. I banged on the glass, screamed. No sound came out. On the other side, it adjusted its posture, practiced my expressions, tilted its head the way I used to when I was thinking. Then it turned away, walked out of the bathroom, out of the apartment, into my life. The mirror darkened, but it didn't go black. It became a window. I can still see through it sometimes. I watch myself, the other me, living normally, going to work, smiling at strangers, sleeping peacefully. No one questions it. No one ever looks twice. The mirror doesn't always show the present. Sometimes it shows the future, moments I haven't lived yet, mistakes I haven't made, things I can't stop. And sometimes when it's very quiet, I see someone else behind them, waiting, watching, learning. So if you ever catch your reflection lagging, if it smiles when you don't, if it feels a little too comfortable wearing your face, don't look away. Because the moment you do, it might decide you're ready to switch places. And tell me, have you checked your mirror today?